Thank you very much. But some of them been calling at 4:30, and I'm like, okay, before we can get this done. And they're like, I hope so, because I'm at the courthouse, I'm at the annex, and I need my ID card.
Oh, no.
That quick.
Yeah. Did it?
Yep.
I'd like to welcome everyone here in the chamber and any of those who are listening online at home. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. This is a special call meeting for Thursday, August 21st at 2025. With that, we'll move to item number 2 on the agenda, and that's to administer oath of office to appointed counsel Rex Clazel. At this point, I'd like to call a point of order and just make a couple of comments. We all know that Weimar is a really special place. It's special for many reasons, but not the least of which that we have citizens who are willing to step up and serve the city as opposed to serving themselves. And at least from my experience, I can't say that that is the case everywhere I've ever lived. So we appreciate that. And one such person is Rex Clazel, and we appreciate that he is willing to serve and that others offered. But the council appointed him last week. So at this point, I'm going to ask Rex to step up here to the flag with me, and we're going to swear him in at this time. So Rex, if you'll come on up. Right there. And, raise your right hand. Okay.
I'm trying to get out of the
In the
picture.
name and by the authority of the state of Texas, repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Council Place 4, City of Weimar, of the state of Texas, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God. Congratulations.
Let's go.
Place 4. Welcome, Rex.
Thank you.
Was that your place before? That was your
I was
seat.
five.
Is that your old black
Maybe it might be.
or nameplate?
You got new chairs. The other one used to not, it was just sinking. So,
Well, we heard you were coming.
thank you.
All right, so with that, we'll move to item 3, discussion and action on installation of stop signs at Northwest Street, at Converse and Sadon Street, and Northwest Street at Grange Street. I think on this we have a speaker, and Chase Silky. If you come up to the mic, Chase, state your name and share your thoughts.
Chase Silky, Superintendent, Weimar ISD. Good evening, Council, Mayor. I come to kind of talk about the reason for requesting these. We made the decision this year to move pickup and drop off of the road, the school's road behind that runs back behind the junior high, the bus barn area. Largely due to buses not being able to get in and out of there when cars were stacked up in there at the end of the day or beginning of the day. It made it really difficult for us to access our bus barn. And so we made that move, and once we announced it on Facebook, we put an announcement out. We started getting some feedback that they'd which I was unaware of, that they'd previously done it on Northwest Street. And so some of the concerns were, I guess, people making U-turns to get back in line, blocking some of the intersections there at Grange Street and Sadon and Converse Street. And so when I went to take a look at it, I met with city manager and Mayor Tucker, and kind of talked about some possible options. The best of which, to my I guess opinion, was installing four-way stop signs at both of those intersections. Keep those intersections clear. Also allow for people to come from any direction and be able to take their turn getting into the drop-off pickup area. That means people coming from 90, instead of having to go down and try to U-turn, just go to the four-way stop and then be able to turn left into the school there, really from every direction. And, you know, so far, you know, it hasn't been a huge problem, but, you know, probably for about 10, 15 minutes in the afternoon, it backs up pretty good there. And I could see the issue coming off of Sadon Road, you know, trying to squeeze in between cars to either turn back right to go towards 90 or to turn left with cars still coming. We are gonna put down there in front of the red old building right there before you get to the junior. We're gonna put a little stripe down for like a turn lane, so people coming south there on Northwest Street can kind of get over, so that cars can keep coming that direction too. So that's kind of the thought process. I'm open to any questions that y'all might have.
So you're looking to put four-way stops or just the stop signs on, and leaving northwest? I don't travel that road, so I'm sorry, and I don't have kids in junior high, but, so you're wanting four-way stops on each intersection, is what you're asking?
Yeah, I think that's just because, I think that's the best solution, because people coming from that direction, if you don't make it to where it's a four-way stop, you have to have people let people in instead of everybody just taking their turn.
Do you think putting that four-way stop at Sadon is gonna open up any more traffic going through by the football field? Because people are gonna try missing those stop signs, then it's gonna, you know, eventually put more traffic on that road going across?
We're working on that too.
Gotcha.
We're gonna put some gates up on that, so that's not a through road.
Perfect. Okay.
But yeah, we anticipate that.
Correct, that's,
So four-way on Sadon Road and also on Grange Street, correct?
Correct.
What about put a sign with no U-turns around that somewhere?
I mean, they do it, I mean, we have no parking signs up and people park, so, I mean, it's just, I see them do it every day. So they come down and they go past the line and they make a U-turn right there, so.
Every time I go like a one-way street, like on Saturday, so they're full. Very full out, like a one-way.
and
I
on
don't-
Chief Jones, do you see any issues with, like, this idea or anything that you see?
The four-way stop, there's no issues with it. I do agree with the one-way. The only thing with the four-way stop is I would only recommend to put out some kind of warning about the traffic pattern change. Otherwise, throwing four-way stops up on through traffic, they're gonna end up running stop signs unknowingly.
Correct.
And it's gonna cause accidents. That's the only thing that I would recommend on there, is just some sort of caution, either renting construction signs or something of that nature that lets them know the date of the traffic pattern change, and then let them know when the traffic pattern does change, and the stop ahead. So it'll probably be about 60 days of renting that type of sign, the electronic sign.
Gotcha.
I like the idea of the one-way during the school zone. That might cause a little bit more confusion, but it's still an option for sure.
I would say the only thing about a one-way I don't know that it would, clear up those intersections. I mean, the people are still gonna go through I mean, that's one of the biggest issues right now, is people just keep going, right? They don't stop and leave the intersections clear. They're just bumper to bumper, so.
Looks like the freeway.
So Chase, in your opinion, do you think, do not block intersection signs would be warranted?
They might help, so, I would think, that's why I thought four-way stop, just because, if you get that, then they have to stop behind those stop signs, which should, I guess they could still stop and then go out into the intersection, but, I mean, into that, intersection, but, you know, at least give everybody an opportunity to go too, so.
It's not completely related to your problem, but a stop sign in Sadon, the people that come off of there and they come through Converse to 155, that's a racetrack, right? And that would clear up some of that, because people have to
Slow down.
forcibly stop, as opposed to they see nobody's there and it's a yield sign and it's, you know, they never slow down,
Cut across, yeah.
you know?
Don't you have a resource officer that can hit the traffic over there?
So we don't have our SROs, are not, they're not really traffic enforcement. They're for protecting the kids. So that's what we've worked with city PD to continue to do traffic. And they've done a good job. I mean, that's why we haven't really had any issues so far this year, because we've had someone out there every day. But, I mean, even with the police sitting there, I mean, you're still seeing the U-turns, you know, so, I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, if you don't change the traffic patterns, they're just gonna keep doing the same thing.
Kudos to the police, because they have been
They've
ever
been there,
present.
yeah, every day.
I don't know whether it's warning or tickets, but there's been a lot of flashing lights, and they were warranted. Because they regularly run through the buses, the yield signs, no yielding at all, so it's definitely an issue.
Yeah.
Josh, do you have any other comments?
The only other input is, you know, y'all talk about the U-turn sign and whatnot. The sign's only as good as the lettering on it, you know, the enforcement is where it's gonna come in often. I'm with the extra enforcement and I'm with the complaints, and, hey, we're willing to handle it. I'm not gonna say no U-turn sign, it needs to be up there, especially, you know, so it's enforceable. You know, we have to be able to enforce it, we have to have some grounds to stand on, and if it's not there, it's not enforceable. But, again, like I said, it's gonna rely on the enforcement of it to curb the behavior.
At this point, the chair would entertain a motion. Thank you, Chase.
So you'd put a four-way at Sadon, Converse, and Grange. Gotcha, so it'd be a 2 4-ways right there.
Something needs to be done, but I'm just,
I would like to see maybe enforcement in those areas before we just with the stop signs, 4-way stops, just to try something. I don't know, I just,
or maybe some signs, do not block
or
the
maybe at least at
intersection.
Grange Street, start there, and maybe put one at Sadon, but I don't know about making a 4-way stop coming down northwest towards the school, in my opinion, but, you know, I don't,
Right now, even the crosswalk now, even stop signs, they just yield signs.
correct.
Yeah, I'm not opposed with a stop sign at Sadon, because that does get, I mean, that,
But making it a 4-way is gonna kinda.
yeah,
I think
but I'm
that-
just saying a stop sign, maybe Sadon,
East-west?
east and west.
Correct.
And then, at Grange, yeah, see, that road comes right up there, so I can understand how that can get clustered.
Chase, what would you think about stop signs on the east-west corridor on both of those roads? Try that.
That would help, but like I said, I don't know where those two people out of the intersection.
I was gonna say, I think that Grange intersection, I could see that getting clustered right
It
there.
does.
But if you put a sign, do not block intersection, or, there again, if there's no sign, they can't enforce it, so.
I like your idea of having something to enforce first.
To try it, to see if we can get it to clear up, if not, then go to that extent, in my opinion.
That's kind of my thinking. I'd like to see something maybe put up to where we can try to see if it doesn't get jumbled up or cluttered up there, and enforce it with maybe some signs. And if that doesn't work, then
if y'all want to go that route, then I would make a suggestion to motion, be enforceable, enforcement only until a certain date, and then to revisit. Otherwise, we're gonna be right back into this situation again, coming back before city council. That way, if the enforcement, the police presence and the enforcement does clear it up, then we don't have to worry about it. But if it doesn't clear it up, then the decision's already been made to enforce at a certain time. That way, we're not coming back and delaying the process any or anything of that nature. That's just my only suggestion behind that, if y'all wanna go that route.
Do you think you need a 30-day, to enforce it looking at what happens in the next 30 days or 60 days,
I would say,
I don't wanna drag it out.
I wouldn't drag it out. I would say a 30-day, we'll work it for 30 days, I'm not sugarcoating anything. It will cause a strain, with on the police department a bit, to make sure that we are there in that area, being able to enforce. If we get a call or whatever, it's gonna take us out of that area. We've been doing a really good job, and thankfully, we've been really lucky with not having any calls, any accidents or anything at those time periods. But just keep in mind that it could also cause a bit of a strain on the PD to make sure that we are there to be able to enforce it. We are all about it. Obviously, we're already in the neighborhood and on those streets, obviously, like Mayor said, that, they're constantly pulling people over right now, for a plethora of reasons, but just keep in mind that if we do go the enforcement route first, there could be times and days that we're not there to enforce, so,
Or, dumb question, could you do temporary four-way stops at Grange and Northwest Street and that side road? Put a stop sign at Sadon just to see how it works and potentially move that to a four-way if it doesn't help? Would that help at all?
you could, but if you're gonna, it would be more strenuous on the citizens, because if we put the temporary stop sign up, it works, everything's working, everything's going great, whatnot, then we take it down, and then they're unsure of what, do they or don't they, it's not there anymore, but it was there yesterday. That, you might cause a little bit of confusion amongst citizens if you do it that way.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, if it's working, then let's make it permanent, but
Oh, okay.
Don't do something permanent right off the bat, and then we're regretting that in 2
Absolutely.
months.
Absolutely.
Do
Yeah.
it something temporary, and then if it's working, make it permanent, at least at that intersection. And then
Absolutely.
bring it back to see what's Sadon. I don't know, Chase, if that would help any, just to give something a try.
Yeah, like I said, the people that emailed me, their concerns were people that are coming off of Sadon
Correct.
and that, traffic gets backed up, but they can't see around it. So they're trying to come through the traffic, and there's somebody coming, so,
It's pretty chaotic.
it gets pretty chaotic, and that was my biggest thing, was how do we keep the intersections clear?
Correct.
Without, and so that was just, talking with them, that was our idea, was let's put four-way stops up and see if that doesn't clear up these intersections, and so.
The traffic's blocking the path though, the kids walking home, like
Don't have sidewalks there, so you got kids that are walking on that side of the road, get people coming off Sadon.
Correct.
Coming this way. It just, like I said, it's not long each day, it's about 15 minutes, but it does create.
It's a pretty unnerving 15
That
minutes.
15 minutes, it can get, it's pretty.
Correct.
Pretty chaotic, so. And I know that's, you interrupt traffic flow all the time for 15 minutes, but
Well,
what's driving a block and coming to a stop?
it's no different than, LaGrange High School there, off of, whatever side street that is, but that street's a lot busier than Northwest Street is,
And just the
and
one-way
back to back.
by
stop signs
HEB
there.
too.
To me, I don't see the issue with coming to a stop at those intersections. I don't live over there, but I travel that road every single day, and during those times too, so.
that might be 15-mile-an-hour speed bump too.
That's another thing. We probably do need to have some sort of lighting put on that 15-mile-an-hour school zone speed limit sign on that road. It's visible, but, you know, there's argument that they
It's
didn't
the same
see
thing
it.
that we've seen over on College Street. It was a racetrack,
Mhm.
and that Lincoln sign helped.
It does help.
So these, if nothing else, the stop signs does break up the flow of traffic. And that you must, or you certainly should, adhere to the stop sign.
Right.
Because they're not paying much attention to anything else unless they're stopped by the police.
Right.
And Josh can attest to that.
Some of them don't even stop.
That's a fact.
So,
So it's whatever the council pleases and think is best.
Being Sadon and Converse isn't kind of like a perfect four-way. Do you see that being any issues?
no,
Being a little offset?
I don't see that being any issue at all. There's a street in Columbus on Montezuma that's not a perfect four-way, and it's a four-way stop.
Is it? Okay.
And it, you know, so that's no issue. The only thing that I really recommend and stress is get that warning out that there's gonna be a traffic pattern change. Because, I mean, it's gonna cause some accidents once it happens.
Well,
you
there
know.
need to be lots of publicity. There need to be a great deal of publicity from the schools out through all of the teachers, so that there's, that those parents are fully aware
Right.
that as of this date and this time, this is in effect.
How soon can our city guys put those signs up?
They're out there right now waiting.
Oh, they got it here already?
Well, no, they've been ordered. We got the anchors to put them in the ground. We're ready and waiting for the council to say go on it. You guys pull the trigger, we'll have them up hopefully by Tuesday next week.
I still think, personally, I think I'd like to see them up just as temporary, 3 months, come back, and if it looks good, we'll set them in the ground hardcore, just to make sure it's the right decision, instead of putting them in the ground permanent, and then 3 months from now, it's not what we needed, and having to try pulling them back up. That's just my take on it.
Okay. We can do whatever the council pleases. You just let us know. We can build a temporary stand just as easily as a permanent stand.
Is that a fair shot at it? I mean,
I'm on board. I'm on board for the four-way stops. You know, like I said, I've stressed it already. Once, you know, my thing is the warning of the prior to.
Correct.
One advantage, Councilman Christian, is that, with temporary, you could move them out during the heavy traffic zone times. Turn them away and face them towards the fields.
True.
And that way, traffic could resume its regular flow. But then, when it comes time, put them back out there, people, but education, like the chief's
Correct.
saying, needs to be done that way too. Let them know what times they'll be
Yes and
facing
no, I think
traffic.
that can be confusing.
I
Could.
kind of agree with that. I think it needs to be one, the more I'm thinking about it, it will really stop that, because I know Northwest Street, that gets to be a speed zone. So that will slow that down a little bit with the four-way stops.
On the temporary side of it, you know, I'm on board with that too. I mean, we can try it out temporarily if, you know, see what traffic does on the temporary side of it, you know.
And see if that's even a fix. If they continue doing it and it doesn't help, then that tells us we need to do something different too. So, yeah.
Let's try the temporary sign, four ways at those two intersections.
I'll make a motion that we, do temporary four-way stops at the intersection of Northwest Street, Converse and State On Road, and Northwest Street and Grange Street.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion by Christian and a second by Roberts. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Passed unanimously. Okay, move to item 4. Thank you, Chase. Annual support plan for surveillance for 25-26. You should be able to see that page 1. City manager?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is for part of our SCADA system, which tells us the condition of our water towers and water supply at all times, at the wells, at the pumps, at the tanks. This is a maintenance agreement that typically follows year to year. And the reason it's before you this evening, as soon as I find it, is the price tag exceeded $10,000 by $68. So you guys have to approve.
We're not gonna allow anything but 10,000. That's 68 is concerned.
David couldn't get them down?
The chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we, approve the Sutherland 2025-2026 plan at $10,068.
Second.
Got a motion by Roberts and a second by Clazel. Any further discussion? That motion passes unanimously. Item 5, proposal by Bethco Engineering to survey all non-PVC water distribution lines and a filtration system up to $20,000. You can see page 5. Don?
Yes, going to page 5, you'll see that this came straight from the Bepco Engineering. Chad, it's everything that he talked about in here, the hourly cost, the 200-day per man, per diem, and the mileage and so forth. I was gonna present something to you guys. I know I sent out a bid from Strand for over $19 million to all the water lines at one time. It may be worth the investment of $20,000 to look at Bethco's idea of doing a quadrant at a time versus tearing the whole city up all at one time. That could be really messy and a strain on all the citizens as well as the council members. So, I mean, it's just up to you guys. If y'all wanna approve it, fine. It's at $20,000. If not, then, you vote it down and we'll just go ahead with Strand's.
For
Cost.
that 20,000, just to clarify, that was just office work. There was no
Yes.
field or nothing.
Yes.
So just to clarify that.
Correct.
Okay.
There was nothing with that. And, I don't know what, being there, you're gonna be using Strand's data. I mean, I'm all for Bethco like Chad, but Strand already has the data. Why don't we just go to them and say, hey, what does it cost to break it down to a quadrant with the same filtration system and probably save a tremendous amount of money on that. That's just my opinion.
We could look at doing that. Now, Strand did not have the $1.5 million in there for the filtration system.
Correct.
They hadn't gotten any word back to me. That's why I went out to Bethco.
Correct, I got you.
So, I'm not hearing anything back. I thought, well, maybe they're not interested.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's not that they weren't. They were just working the numbers, so.
Correct. It's just a suggestion. It's up to council, but that's just my take on it. I don't see spending up to $20,000 when Strand already did the grunt work. And they gave us the full plan. Why not just get them to break it in quadrants, and
Okay.
probably would cost a quarter of what they're gonna spend with Bethco.
All right.
And
I'll
once
make a
they
note.
once they give us that breakdown, then we can share it with Bethco.
Yeah.
You know, wow, that's just my take.
And they may even, I don't recall seeing it, but typically they have road repairs in there as well. So that total package may include some of the repairing of the roads after they've dug it up.
And to add on that, I'd like to get that broken down, get a quote what it'd be, what the cost would be, and then maybe let's share that with Chad and say, okay, here's what Strand provided us, what would it cost us for him to look it over and go from there to revise the quote and see what he comes up with.
Okay, I can do that.
You have a motion to that effect?
Do we need to make a motion for that, or is that just
I think we probably just let it die.
We're just voting on the Bethco deal, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You could call for a motion, then when
Yeah.
no motion is made, it's dead.
Any motion on item 5?
Can you have that done at the next meeting, Strand? The quotes?
I can get started on that tomorrow. It just depends on how full their schedules are. Yes.
Motion for item 5. Second call for motion on item 5. Item 5 fails for lack of motion. Okay, item 6, executive session under Texas Government Code Sections 551.074 personnel matters, update on police chief applicants, and I'm showing us going into executive session at 5:59.